Welcome to the Hardcore Closer Podcast. I'm Ryan Stewman, founder of HardcoreCloser.com, and this podcast is all about helping you, the salesperson, close more sales. And look, whether you're selling cars, homes, financial services, consulting, whatever it is that you sell, this podcast is dedicated to help you generate higher quality leads, increase your closing ratios, and show you how to charge premium fees for the items you sell so you can get paid what you're worth. Welcome to episode 64 of the Hardcore Closer Podcast. And look, I'm glad that you're here. If it's the first time that you've ever been here before, you can check out previous episodes. There's at least 63 of them at this point. I don't know what point you're listening to. But listen, I'm going to need something from you. I start out every show the same way. I'm going to need you to leave me a review on iTunes. There's people crushing it over there, getting their podcast noticed. And I need to do the same thing because it's my goal to get in front of and help 300 million salespeople globally. And one of the ways that we're doing that is obviously these podcasts on iTunes. And listen, I know it's a pain in the ass to leave a review. I do. But if you think it's a pain in the ass to leave a review, think of what a pain in the ass it might be to set up these episodes every single week and come up with content and post them to the blog and take the time and everything else. So all we're asking over here at Team Hardcore Closer is that you head over to iTunes and leave us a review. If you're not listening to this on iTunes, if you're on like YouTube or if you're on the website, just share it or hit the thumbs up button. We appreciate that as well. If it's your first time, you enjoy the episode, leave me a review. If you've been here more than once and you haven't left me a review, I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? You being lazy, bro, or what? What's the deal? I'm going to hook you up every week now, 64 weeks in a row without missing a beat. You can take a couple of minutes to go over to the podcast. I'm just saying. That's what I'm just saying. But enough on that. We need your help. Like my friend right here, he says the name is Bob Holmes. That's who this is, so I'm guessing it's Bob Holmes. He says 5 stars, great podcast. He did this just last week, May 12th. 2017. He says, I'm in the business technology sales, and I recently came across Ryan and gave his podcast a listen. An hour later, I'm still here. I even got Elevator to the Top, which is our best-selling book. Great stuff, man. Keep it up. So how cool is that? The guy listens to the podcast, and he goes and buys Elevator to the Top, or maybe you went and got our free offer at elevatortothetop.com. Either way, I think that's awesome. Bob Holmes, who is in business technology. You see, that's how you do it. You pitch me through. That's how you go leave a review. We see your reviews. Robert, the producer, he cuts the reviews out, puts them on here. We just advertised a dude named Bob Holmes' business, who is obviously in the business technology. If you need business technology, whatever that means, then hit Bob Holmes up. I don't know what business technology is because I'm not a corporate guy, but I'm sure a lot of you out there going, dude, I need business technology. And so anyway, let's think, like you got a shit pitch for free here on our show to, I don't know how many downloads we get a week because I don't pay that close attention, but I know we get thousands of listens alone each week on YouTube, and I think we're somewhere around 15 to 30,000 downloads a week or a month, or hell, I don't know. I just do this for you guys, not for me, but I need you to help me out by leaving a review. So let's jump into the episode. Wait, put the brakes on. Before we jump into the episode, I got to pay some bills around here, right? If you're in real estate, which is what we're going to talk about today, and we're not talking about just for realtors or loan officers or nothing like that. We're going to talk about how to make money from real estate. And I'm not talking about going and getting your license and selling real estate. I'm going to talk to you some ways that you can make money from real estate. I'm just going to share behind the scenes what I'm up to, so you can copy my methods. How about that? Just like real life, real experience from real motherfucker. But I got to pay some bills. So in case you're unaware, I own a company that is an alarm company. And so I'm a big believer in home automation. Matter of fact, when my doorbell rings, the app on my phone, it like lights up and it shows the person standing there. And if it's like Amazon or whoever, Amazon or UPS or whoever's delivering packages, because I even get my groceries delivered here. I don't go out in public much. I don't know. It's not my thing. And so especially not to places like Walmart and stuff like that. I just have Amazon deliver my groceries. And I can see them through my phone, like clear as bell, like a camera right there. And I can talk to them. I'll be like, yo, leave the groceries next to the door, son. Right. And they just put them there and walk away. And I'm like, yeah, walk away. That's right. Walk away. It's Texas. You know what's inside this door. Anyway, I think it's cool because you could just talk to them if you're out of town, you're on vacation. I've been on the beach and someone's been at my door and I'm like, yo, go away. I'm come out and come get you. And I'm not even there. So it's cool technology. And I see the way that homes are being automated. We've got cameras all over our house here. I can watch my kids as they sleep. I can watch, I was just at Marshall Silver's house. He had like 32 cameras in his house. And so the reason I share all that with you is I can give you your clients, whoever needs it. If you have just bought a home or if you've lived there for a while and you don't have current security, I can install a security system into the house, and I can give you the actual security monitoring, right? The box, the installation, all the good stuff that you need, absolutely free. Just go to yourfreealarm.com. So if you sell real estate, think about this. I'll give you $100 for everybody that gets an alarm for us that you send. So you just refer them over, put your name in the box. We'll send you over PayPal. You can make passive residual income, and you can give our free alarms as a closing gift. It's like, hey, thank you so much for doing business with me is my way of saying thank you for doing business with me is my way of showing appreciation. I have this free alarm system that we would like to get installed inside your house, keep you and your family safe in your new home. You look like a hero. You get $100, I make a sell. We all win. Go to yourfreealarm.com. If you're in mortgages, real estate investor, if you're a realtor, just scroll to the bottom where it says referral partners, sign up, enter your information there to become an affiliate. We'll send you $100 for everybody that you send our way that we take care of. Now, listen, I want to make something real clear before we go forward. The guys and gals that work for us over at yourfreealarm.com are not the same people that work for us at hardcorecloser.com. Not that one is different than the other, but we have a completely different set of people, a completely different client experience, a completely different brand. So I just want to make that very clear as well. We have professionals. Matter of fact, my business partner used to be a federal agent. So like national security used to be his thing. Now personal security is his thing. So it's just a completely different business model and company. Although Hardcore Closer is badass, we do cuss a lot and everything else at Hardcore Closer. I just want to make the significant difference that is not how business is handled at yourfreealarm.com. It's a completely different business model. All right, with that being said, let's talk about some real estate. I've been making a little bit of money in real estate lately, and I'd like to share some ways that you can make money in real estate, even if you don't have a license. Matter of fact, you're in better shape if you don't have a license. You've got some advantages, right? Because when you have a governing authority over you, it changes things. In real estate licensing bureau, the state, TREC is here, what they call it here in the state of Texas. I've never lived anywhere else to know it or needed a license anywhere else to know what it's called. But here it's called TREC, and Texas Real Estate Commission. And it's another governing body. It's another place that's got its hand out, asking you for money first and foremost. It's another place that's all of a sudden monitoring you. But if you're buying and selling real estate for others, it's needed. Right? That's what it takes to get a real estate license. But if you can buy and sell real estate for yourself, you don't need a license. Matter of fact, that you can buy and sell real estate on behalf of several people if you want. All you got to do is, and now, first of all, put the brakes on this shit. I am not a licensed anything. Laws vary from state to state. You should always, and I repeat, always contact a lawyer before you do anything. I recommend my lawyer, Lorne Book. You can find him at Lorne@prattbook.com. So you can go over and find Lorne. Again, we'll make sure that his information is included in this. So you can just reach out to him, tell him that you're a member of the show or you're a listener of the show. But I'm sorry, his email address is lbook. It's LBOOK at prattbook.com. So I would consult an attorney if you don't have one, call Lorne beforehand. But here's the thing. I don't have a financial license. I don't know the laws in your state. I have only done these things personally, my way of doing things personally. These are not secondhand experiences. I've paid taxes on these. I just want you to understand that anything I say here is from firsthand experience, but the shit may not work for you. And before you take any of the advice that I'm about to share with you in the show, you need to consult a lawyer. Specifically, if you need one, call Lorne. All right, that being said, and just by listening to this, you're not holding me harmful for any foolish mistakes you make in real estate investing. So back to this. In 2005, I got my first dose of the real estate bug. I in early 2004, I think it was November of 2003, I started in the mortgage business. And I was watching people, I started doing a few investor loans, and I watched people make money. And how I started the investor loans, and you guys that are in the loan business are going to love this, you can still do it today. It's just different companies. But back then they had Rich Dad, Poor Dad seminars. And I knew that Rich Dad, Poor Dad taught real estate investing. And that was the pitch at the seminar, because I had been one of those people up at 1 o'clock in the morning, high on giraffe ass, and been like, are you tired of living the everyday life and want to be above average, make money in real estate? And I'm like, yes, hell yeah, I'm there tomorrow. And so anyway, I went to the seminar, realized they were pitching real estate. It was awesome. And I thought, dude, as a mortgage guy, I thought, man, I'm like a shark in a room full of minnows. Like literally, it's like full of prospects in there. All these people want to buy real estate. Why when they need a mortgage? Hello, I'm the bank. And this was in the subprime mortgage days, if for some of you older guys. So shit's like, hey, are you alive? Do you have a 450? Done, son. Here's 300 grand. It was like nothing. So obviously I started making a bunch of money. And for those of you who know my story, you know that eventually I got raided by the cops. They thought that I was selling drugs. I was making so much money. I'm like, drug dealers don't make money like this. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, end up going back to prison. Long story short, I got my first taste of real estate. And I knew what was possible through these seminars. And what happened is I stopped doing mortgages after a few. I saw the gains that these people were making, and I stopped doing mortgages and started investing in real estate. And I did back then, we did something called the double close. So basically, and we just actually closed on one a couple of weeks ago myself. So it's still a real thing. But what we would do is I would go out and I would find a house for, let's say, $100,000 that was worth $150,000. And so I would get it under contract for $100,000, turn around and sell it to you for $150,000, which was still a good deal because you're getting it at market price. And then I make $50,000. Well, the banks, they got to where they didn't like that. They saw people making too big of gains and property appreciation. You know how that happened. It went through the roof and then the bubble popped and then properties lost all this value. And that was part of what drove it up, was doing double closes. And, fuck them. I contributed to it. I don't run the banks, but if the banks say, hey, here's the program, we need you to put millions of dollars of loans into, well, who the fuck am I to deny that? I wanted the commissions. And I helped a lot of people make money too. It was great. So some people were like, the mortgage thing was the end of the world for me. Like, I know a lot of people that got like 50 grand for signing contracts. They're feeling pretty damn good about it. I know I was. And so, and of course there was casualties. I lost homes and so did some of the investors and shit like this. Shit happens, man. The president of the United States right now, he's went bankrupt a couple times too. Not everything you fucking try works out. Back to the story. So I had got this bug, right? And so I knew that you could find properties really cheap or at valuable prices. Last week on this, we talked about value. And so the truth is the value in a home. And if you're a good person at selling value, you'll do good at making money in real estate too. So there's something here in North Texas, and I'm sure there's something in your area as well. I just don't know what it's called because I don't live there. But there's something here in North Texas called the Roddy Report. And this Roddy Report, in Texas, it works like this. There's a thing called Foreclosure Tuesday. The first Tuesday of every month, that's when every foreclosure happens. So if the home doesn't get foreclosed on the first Tuesday, it's not going to get foreclosed on again until the next Tuesday. That's its next chance. But in order for them to foreclose on everybody on Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month, they have to file a report 3 weeks prior to that. That's a notice that says, hey, you're being foreclosed on. So everybody knows that you've got until Tuesday at noon to pay your shit off. So when they make that filing, this company Roddy Report, they scrape basically the county filings and they put them into an XLS sheet and they give you everybody's contact information. A lot of people send direct mailers to the list. A lot of people knock doors on the list. Well, that's what we do. We find people on the list that maybe have lived in their home for 20 years. And while everybody else is going to say, hey, you guys can do, they'll work out odd deals with them. We just simply say, hey, we'll give you 10 grand, kick rocks. We'll pay off your mortgage. We own your house now. Look at me. Look at me. I am the captain now. Right? That's what we tell them. And it works out well. They were about to lose their home, and we step in and give them 10 G's to get out of it. And then we assume the equity in the home by paying it off to the bank. We assume that because we get a contract between us and them, we assume the equity of the home. Turn around if it needs rehab. A lot of times these people have let it go to shit, literally. And so a lot of times you got to put a little bit of work in them or whatever. But let's just say I pick up their home because they lived in it for 15 years. They bought it for $150,000. They still owe $100 on it. They're 9 months behind on their mortgage payment, so they owe $110,000 in price on their deal, and they're up for foreclosure Tuesday, 2 weeks from now. Okay, so let's just put this scenario. This is a real life scenario, and I bet they exist in your area too. So there's 110 they're going to owe with attorney fees and back fees and court filing and everything else. Let's just use round, even numbers here. But this home, when they bought it, was worth 150. But I said that was 15 years ago, so now it's probably worth 225. But it's probably going to need 10 to 15,000, maybe as much as $30,000 in rehab stuff because I'm not seeing this house yet, right? I'm knocking on their door. They're not going to let me in and look around and shit like that. I'm trying to make them a fast money cash for keys offer. But I'm all in at 140 worst case scenario. So I'm still 10,000 less than what they paid for it 15 years ago. That's if I have to rehab pretty much the whole damn thing. But I know that my price is going to be somewhere around 225. So if I'm at 140 and I'm all out, that's with giving them 10 grand and everything right out the door. Okay, that pays off their mortgage, gives them 10 grand, puts 20 into upgrades, 30 worst case scenario. So I'm in at 140. Then all of a sudden, I have 85. If I sell that thing at 225, I've got $85,000 in gross commissions. Now I'm going to have to pay a realtor probably 4% because that's what I'm going to negotiate for them. I know you realtors out there listening going, you asshole. I know it, man. But hey, I'm talking from an investor standpoint here. So at 225, I'm going to pay 4%. So that's basically another 10 grand. So we're down to $75,000. Then the government, the worst business partner ever. I'm telling you, the worst business partner ever is going to come with their hand out wanting about 30% of that 75 grand. So let me help you out on the cool because 30% of that 75 grand, that shit adds up really quick. Okay. I mean, that's another 22.5 that you're losing. So you're really sitting at $57,000 out of $85,000 in profit. See, this is where a lot of people get fucked up in real estate is they're like, dude, we're going to make 50 grand. And then they realize everybody has their fucking hand out. You walk away with 10 and you hadn't paid your fucking bills in 2 months. You're like, fuck real estate. Some of you listening right now are like, oh shit, that's exactly how it got me. You got to know your numbers, ladies and gentlemen. You got to know what the tax rate is. You got to know what you're going to be taxed at here in Texas. We don't have state tax, but you got capital gains taxes with the federal government. Those run anywhere 30 to 35%. You should always check. Like, don't listen to me on those numbers. You should always check. I plug my shit into a spreadsheet. So, again, no license here. Terrible person to take real estate advice from if you're looking for some legal advice. Now, on the cool advice, street hustle advice, we're talking $57,000. Now, earlier this year, I bought a home in Florida. I got a buddy down there named Brandon Vineyard. If you need to buy or sell a home in Pensacola, Florida, the agency, Brandon Vineyard, he's your guy. He's the top sales guy in the panhandle of Florida for like 5 years running. Dude sold thousands of properties. He gets his hands on foreclosures all the time, but he sells me a home down there for $115,000. We sit on the thing for 7 months because it's an FHA eligible home. It's going to take a while for title to be seasoned. See, these are the numbers you need to know. If you've got a home that's here in Dallas, if it's worth less than $300,000, you can get an FHA loan on it. FHA loan allows for like wide credit guidelines. It's like a subprime loan, basically backed by the government. We'll just say that to make things easy for you. But if you're flipping homes and somebody's getting an FHA loan, you have to at least be on title for 90 days. Which means that you have to sit on that house for 90 days before you can contract it and sell it to somebody that's going to get an FHA loan. So we sat on the house for 90 days, then we put it up for sale on the 91st day. And it took us about another 2 months to sell the property. And we ended up selling the property for $163,000. And we walked away after net, after taxes, capital gains, everything else with about $24,000. Me and I have one partner. And so basically, if you think about that, now we're not taking money out. I'll explain my strategy in a second. But that's $12,000 that we have each after it's all said and done. And which isn't very much, right? So like if we pull that money out, then we're going to be taxed again as personal income. And we're going to knock that bitch down to about $8,000. Okay, now again, check your numbers with your state. Where I live is different than where you live. But we're talking 5 months of business to make $8,000. Now, it sounds great. Made $27,000 off property. A lot of you are like, dude, I'd like to make $27,000. You got to understand how it all breaks down. But like a fucking G, this is what we did. Okay, so when we sold this house for $163,000, we walked away with $27,000. We had each put $55,000 in to get to the $115,000 the price. Okay, you with me here? Stick with me. So what we do is we took out $150,000 cash money, fat stacks of hundreds, y'all. Not really, we just wired it. But we took out $150,000, and then of what we took from that house, the cash, because we bought it for cash, we took it to a bank who then gave us $300,000. We took our $150,000 and deposited it with a commercial bank, and they said, okay, fellas, here's $300,000, have fun. And they gave it to us at 5% flat interest only for 6 months, which means, for those of you who don't understand the banking world, that means that it's a 5% interest rate. They'll loan me up to $300,000. I can borrow against that line for up to 6 months at a time. And it's interest only, meaning all I've got to do is pay the principal, pay the 5% and the principal back. Which keeps my payments low, which keeps my overhead down while I'm working on these homes. So then we take this $150,000 that's now $300,000 and I go home shopping. Okay, the home shopping network over here, HSN, son. So go, and I got to find a house that is not typical of, right now in North Dallas, there's no less than 100 cranes in the air. That means there's going to be 100 high rises and apartments. That also means there's going to be millions of people that move here in the next 5 years. That also means housing is extremely inflated and people are scared to sell because they got nowhere to go. So that makes for a very competitive market. But I know how to market and I know how to negotiate. So what I did was I wired up a realtor, because that's what any good guy does. Get a realtor that'll work hard for you. Makes all the difference. Makes all the difference in the world. Get a real estate agent that will work hard for you. Don't get one of them stuck-up real estate agents. Get one that'll work hard for you, guys. Send the real estate over there to negotiate. We pull a few punches. We get this house that's listed at $205. It is a complete shithole. We take it for $180,000. Okay, so we're knocking $25,000 right off the get-go. Market value was that. Problem is nobody's going to have the cash to rehab this bad boy. This is a real-life scenario. So we took the money that we made from the first one, instead of taking $12,000 and leaving with $8,000, we just left the money in there and parlayed it into the next house. You with me, ladies and gentlemen? So we didn't take our cut of the money. Like I said, we could have taken about $8,000 after it's all said and done, but instead we pulled all the cash that we had together again, doubled up, and bought a bigger house. And so now we're in at 180 this house and hired the contractors. Crest Exteriors was the contractor that we hired. And they did everything. They subcontract the paint, the floors, the cabinets, the roof, like all this stuff, man. They rehabbed the house from top to bottom, man. They did a great job. And it cost us somewhere around $75,000. We hauled out probably 6 dumpsters worth of shit from this thing. And I'm talking 30-yard dumpsters, like big fucking 30-foot dumpsters, big fucking dumpsters. They made, this house was like, there was hoarders. There was like a hot tub in the backyard that was plugged in to like through a tube. Anyway, it was a nightmare. It was like one of those jobs, like you ever seen one of those episodes of TV where like, oh shit, this was way more than we bargained for. But we're still in at 180. That's what we got paid for it right out the door. That's with tax, title, license, everything else. And we're putting 75 into it. So at that point, we're still sitting at 265. Okay. Well, right now I have the house on the market. I just put it on last week for $340. That's going to be $265 that I'm going to owe back to the bank. Okay. So we're at $260. So we didn't even use our full $300, and we got 6 months, and we're only into this thing for about 2 months at this point. So I got it up for sale at $340. I reckon it'll sell in the first 30, 60 days max. So now all of a sudden I'm doing the math over here real quick. Let's see, 3. So now I'm sitting at about $75,000 profit, okay? Which if you add that to our original $150, that takes us up to $225,000 in cash that we got from that first deal that we parlayed into the second deal, which means what, ladies and gentlemen? Which means now the bank will give us $450. Okay, so now we got purchasing power to go out and buy a $250,000 house, drop $100K into it if needed, put the thing on the market, and then we're sitting at $350. We still not all the way up to our $450 line, and then we're going to make another $100K profit because those are the numbers that we look to do right there. Which some of you might be like, well, that must be nice, and some of you are like, where is he going to find this dream deal? We find it all day, every day. And you just got to know how to get the Roddy Report, knock on doors, find the right things that are on the MLS. You just got to put in a little sweat equity as well. I charge a GC fee to our company because I'm going over. I'm doing the general contractor. I'm managing the subs and all that stuff. My partner in the business, he's like silent partner. So I charge the GC firm to it too, GC fee to it as well. That's priced into everything. It's not very much. I charge a flat fee per time that we do it, $10,000 per home. And then again, that's personal income. Then we take from the work that I do, because I'm at these houses every single day, especially if they're around here. If not, then I'm in touch with the subs because we're looking in Arkansas, and I just got one in Cleveland the other day as well. I'll talk about that in a minute. But so right now we're sitting at 450. I go buy something for 250, put in it all in at 350, and then sell it obviously at 450. We're talking another $100,000. So if we were at 225, now we're at 325, which takes me to 650, which is the tipping point. So I'm literally one house away from just playing with the house's money. You think about this in gambling. I just came back from Las Vegas, but playing with the house's money and being able to do two of these at a time. Because then I can go buy two houses for 250 each. I'm only at 500. I've still got 150 to go in upgrades, and that's when the momentum catches on. Now, some of you are listening going, well, fuck, dude, it'd be nice to have $75,000 and a homeboy that has $75,000 laying around to get this shit started too. And I get that. Not everybody has that. And some of you, that like you wouldn't miss $75,000 if I stole it from you right now. I get it. So for those of you that wouldn't miss $75,000, like, find you a homeboy or put all the money in yourself. The best thing that I've done is leverage my network. I bought a house from Brandon Vineyard, Matt Motil. I bought a house from him, like me and Brandy Whitmire, who's another tribe member. We bought a home from Matt Motil about 3 weeks ago up in Cleveland. We paid $60,000 all in for it. It's probably worth $65,000, $70,000. It's got two renters that are paying $750 per side. So we're making $1,500 a month. If you do the math on that, so if you're talking $1,500 times 12, so that's $18,000 a year that we're making in income from this property. And in 3 years, it basically is, in 3.5 years, it's paid for itself. And then it generates, by that point, probably $2,100 a month in income to us. And then if we want to sell it, we've got $70,000, let's just say. And so, but it basically we've made all of our money back plus $70,000 in less than 4 years, if that's what we want to do with this property, or we could just keep letting it cash flow $2,000 a month. And keep adding more just like it to our portfolio. And so you see that with real estate, if you have cash, it's one thing. If you don't, there's something called a hard money loan. And a hard money loan they're tricky because they usually want about 4% of your equity, which is a lot. Don't think it's not. Just because it sounds like a low number, but 4% of $100,000, is $4,000. Okay, I just want you, so 4% of 200,000 is $8,000. You see the pattern here? So think of it, it is a lot of money. And then they usually give you like a 12 or 13% interest rate for 6 months. And sure, it's interest only, but it's high. And so when you got to take into consideration, if you don't have any money, but you can find a house that's worth $150 that you can buy for $75 that needs $25,000 worth of work, they'll give you hard money against it. But just know you're not going to make $50,000. You're probably going to walk away with 15 or 20, which is still a lot of money. But I'm just trying to set the standard here so that your thinking's right. But for those of you that have access to capital, because you're in sales, you should have money, right? Fuck your Rolex, fuck your fancy spinning wheels and all the shit that you gotta have. None of that is making you money. Go sell that shit to somebody who's a sucker for top dollar and take that money and invest it in real estate. I'm telling you, I've got friends like Jamie Waite. The fastest way to become a person with a 9-figure net worth is to own it in real estate. My buddy Jamie Waite, they buy storage facilities, they clean them up, rent them out, refinance them, because you can refinance things. If you buy it at 30% occupancy, you bump it up to 90% occupancy, then you get to refinance it and pull the cash out of it at the 90% occupancy rate, which obviously pays a hell of a lot higher when it's being appraised. And you get all your money back, and then you're just like cash flowing the house's money. There's nothing like real estate money out there. And a lot of agents, they make $300-400 million a year, $400,000, $1 million a year. And congratulations to them. But man, I'm telling you, the real money is in buying and selling and negotiating this stuff. And listen, if you're smart with it, you go out, you do your double close, you assign a contract, or you find a double close, you sign a contract, or you do a deal with somebody with hard money, and then you take the cash from that and then stack it to the bank like we did. It's like, hey, I got $50,000. Will you give me $100,000? And you go out and you buy you a $60,000 home, fix it up, sell it for $80,000, keep $20,000, stack it up, keep doing that just like I'm doing until you're playing with the house's money. Then you just take all your cash out of the game. You pay Uncle Sam with it. You put it back in your retirement portfolio, because I put our money in the retirement portfolios, I buy rental real estate, right? So every time that we make above and beyond, my goal is every time we make above and beyond $1 million cash in our flipping account, I'm going to transition that cash into buying rental real estate. We just bought our first one in Cleveland, like I was explaining, from Matt Motil, who's a great source. The dude has like 300 homes for sale. If you want to hit him up, Dr. Matt Motil on Facebook. But so like there's so many different ways that you can make money in real estate. And in my tribe group, this is what we talk about. The tribe is our high-end mastermind. Like it's for our elite people. You got to be making at least $150,000, really $250,000 is preferred, but a minimum of $150,000. You got to be serious about sales. You got to have extra money, because what we do back there is I not only help you build and scale a business, but I start telling you shit like, hey man, it's time for you to trade in that Rolex for some real estate, because that's some real shit. And hey man, it's time for you to level up and quit buying Christian Louboutin shoes like a dumbass and go buy you some fucking Adidas and then spend the extra $2,000 investing in this freaking rental property. It's really that simple. But these are the kind of mindset change that I'm helping everybody with, because I want salespeople to know that we're on limited watch. We really are. I mean, if you look, there's robots replacing doctors and lawyers. Right now, if you Google, will robots replace doctors and lawyers? The first thing that comes up is yes, and it's from the Harvard Business Review. They're the first ones to go. If you don't think they're coming for our jobs, you're crazy. But here's the thing. If you start buying and flipping real estate now, and you start making that real estate money, and you start getting that cash flow coming in, think about me. I got connections everywhere. I just named like 4 people I buy houses from. I just gave you 4 plugs. If we were selling drugs, I would have just gave you the Colombians, the Ecuadorians, the people from Jamaica, and the Brazilians. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all would have got the Peruvian shit as a bonus. But what I'm saying is I just like gave you all the plugs to get these properties. I've got thousands of them. Anytime somebody needs something, like my buddy Clayton Easton, he hits me up from Arkansas all the time. Hey, bam, here's the next house that you need to get your hands on. So what I do is I plug the tribe members right into the network. The reason why I share that with you is it's a mindset change that you got to go through right now. We're going through a shift where we don't know how much longer our jobs are around. Maybe they're going to be around 20 years. Maybe they're going to be around 30. But what if they're gone in 2? The best thing that you can do right now is start investing in real estate. I don't have anything to sell you, right? Like I don't have, like for real estate, I can go buy my house in Dallas for sale. It's 12336 High Meadow Drive, Dallas, Texas. You can buy that, but I don't have anything, and that's at full retail. So it's not a good investment for you. But if you want to live in it, it's fucking awesome. But I don't have anything to sell you in regards to real estate today or real estate investing course. You can hit my buddy Jason Lucchese up. He has stuff like that. Another friend of mine, Kent Clothier, they have stuff like that as well. But what I'm telling you, course or no course, the key is just go out there and take action. And stop spending your money on stupid shit. If you look back, you look around you, like just look around you on your nightstand and shit like that. You got all this, like, you know, maybe you got an Xbox, a 60-inch TV, a fancy sound system, an iPad, an iPhone, some Gucci shoes, a wallet, some fucking shit. Like, I mean, you look around you for a second and you see $150,000 worth of blown money that could be making you $2,000 a month right now. That $2,000 a month could be paying for the Ferrari that you've always wanted. You could get a free Ferrari, ladies and gentlemen. That's the kind of shit that you can do through real estate. So my job is to change your mind, because when you change your mind, you change your life. And I want you to stop looking at these material things like the movie stars that are full of shit, by the way, and the rappers that are full of shit, by the way, and all these other people telling you to blow your money and do a bunch of stupid, ridiculous shit. I'm telling you, be sensible with your money, and a good place that you can put it into is real estate. I would be talking about E-Trade stuff, but that's like highly fucking not a good idea, because you start talking about what stocks you buy and shit like that, you get into all sorts of FTC shit. So you guys are just fucked on that. But I will tell you that you need to start putting your money into real estate and then taking the money from that and finding a way to get something, whether you're buying stocks, bonds, or additional pieces of real estate to get you a residual income. Because in the event that we lose our jobs in sales or we get automated in one form or another, like, wouldn't it be nice to be like, who gives a fuck? You move to Thailand, you collect $6,000 a month and you know, debt-free rental real estate, $6,000 a month in Thailand, guys. Like, you fucking live like a king. So there's like, but you would have that option, whereas the next person would be stuck doing like socialist work and shit like that. So it's time to get ahead of the curve. If you want to join the tribe, by all means, you want to learn more about it, just go to breakfreeacademy.com/tribe. You can see some of the cool shit that we do there. And if you're not a part of the entourage, right, if you're like, dude, I don't make 150 grand yet, or if you're like, I'm not ready to commit on a big level with you, Ryan, go over to breakfreeacademy.com/entourage. Get signed up with us. I'll give you $34,000 worth of shit to join our club. That's what the fuck is up. So just go over to breakfreeacademy.com/entourage. Thanks for listening. Hey, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Just take some action and go find your first house.